Hello and welcome back. What's up, guys? It's episode 43 of Heroic Stats,
Oh my god, he's so energized.
podcast hosted by Any Heroics. One of the podcasts, maybe, if we do something next year, which we might do, we might not. Who knows? Unfulfilled promises are our speciality.
Yeah, we're
It won't
walking
be
back.
this.
We're walking back the commitment somewhat as the year trundles on.
We've
But,
only missed 1 week in 43
yeah,
episodes.
I mean that's pretty good. But also, those are our loyal fans, all 20 of them will be devastated to hear that. But I'm sure people can realise this can be a little draining, especially when we all work full time. And we'll figure something out because obviously I've enjoyed doing these kinds of things. But it has taken its toll over the course of the year, getting it out every week. I think we'll retreat to Any Heroics Castle and figure out exactly what we want to do with it next year.
Comment down below how often
Yeah, if you
you
have-
want to see the pod.
If you've got suggestions, we will read them for sure. Because as we know, that's the favourite part of
If it's any more than biannually, we'll be upset.
Yeah, once every 6 months. My name is Stephen. I'm, of course, joined by the intern, John Partridge, and the harbinger of Neville, Mr. David Farmer.
Yeah,
That was straight off the top of the dome. Pretty happy with that.
he's impressive. Guy.
If you haven't listened before, and why wouldn't you? This is the best podcast available that premieres specifically at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening and is also specifically about Middle-earth strategy battle game content.
There are dozens of them.
There's a whole one of those. We are the results-based podcast for UK Middle-earth strategy battle game, which is about to get a big revival. I say revival; it was never dead.
Shot in the arm, you might say.
A shot in the arm, exactly. A booster jab. It's your coronavirus booster. That's what's going on. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, or whatever it is that whoever that rapper is says.
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J, that's the one. For sure.
LL Cool J.
Are you sure it wasn't Lyndon B. Johnson?
Yeah, it was Lyndon B. Johnson, you're right.
It's Lyndon B. Johnson.
LBJ.
Before we jump into the results of the weekend just gone by, I do have to let you guys know we are affiliated with the wonderful, the fantastic Seventh City Collectibles up in Nottingham/Nottinghamshire area. Go check them out for all your favourite systems: Middle-earth, Warhammer 40k, Old World, Age of Sigmar, your card games, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering. It's got Star Wars Legion, paints, terrain, and also go and buy your gosh damn tickets to what is probably going to be the best event of the year next year, which is the Seventh City GP. Trailer coming soon, if I pull my
Trailer?
It's going to be interesting.
Jeepers Creepers.
They also buy and sell your second-hand armies, so go and sell them your stuff. You can cash it in for store credit at a slightly preferential rate, or you can just get cold hard cash. Either way, go check them out. Go say hi.
Cold hard cash or warm, soft, squishy
before
store
we-
credit.
Move on to the first tournament of the weekend. We are, of course, the only GBHL team where its leader is picked based on their ability to make a scripted joke seem original and off the cuff every week.
Oh, I mean,
You forgot, Stephen.
I didn't forget. I've been sporadically not doing it because some people have told me that joke is dead. If you like that joke, comment down below.
That was so sporadic and off the cuff, John. I liked it.
Yeah,
Definitely not scripted.
thanks.
No, that one was the least scripted one yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my secret, Dave. They're all scripted.
It's all scripted.
Everything you say is scripted.
This entire podcast is detailedly scripted every week.
The only podcast where I have no idea what's next on the slide. So, John, what are we doing next?
It is, of course, Atomic Berticon, a GBHL
God.
100 TO'd by Bert Leach in Newbury, southeast England. 2-dayer, 7 games, 555 points. Is veto correct? Was it veto?
3
It was
of the
partial
rounds were
veto.
veto.
Yeah. 4
Which was-
rounds, wasn't it?
Was
Was the final round not
sorry,
also
four,
veto?
4 rounds.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
it was like 3 of the pools, because it did all 6 pools, and 3
Yeah.
of them were veto. It was the killing scenarios, the
maneuvering
maelstrom and
and
maneuvering.
Maelstrom. Yeah,
Yeah,
anything
were
that could
veto.
have banner VPs, basically.
Yeah, and then the final round was random from everything, and then veto again. So
Yeah, random from everything that wasn't specifically played. So round 2, where a scenario was drawn, that scenario couldn't be played
so
again.
you could sure. So not veto. So you could play the same thing again, but it wasn't terribly likely
Yes,
to come up. Okay, sure.
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a really good event. I actually have the full footage from an event blog, which will actually be coming soon.
Will it?
It will,
I've heard that
because
before.
no, because I actually have all the footage, and I have between games, and I have pre-event, middle of event, and post-event. So we'll be seeing
Okay.
that at some point.
We better.
If you're watching this episode in 1 month's time, this is where I've edited the notice saying there was no video.
What?
There was no footage of this event. There's no evidence it happened.
There is no war in Basing Say, etc., etc.
It would be remiss of me not to shout out Mr. Burt Leach, who gave a significant amount of his time, energy, and personal funds, as far as I can tell, towards prize support, making everything run smoothly. I mean, the man literally gave out, I think, over 250 prizes. A lot of them were dice or a warm hug from Burt.
Yeah, he had a real plan to give out a lot of prize support. I think that's something that hasn't been as present as maybe I would like. There have been some banger tournaments, but it doesn't seem to be like a default thing. So it was pretty nice to see that seemed to have been his plan as well. It wasn't like, he went into the tournament with the intention of making the prize support, top notch, which is pretty cool. Also, I'm disappointed that someone else actually. Well, I mean, I'm terrible at following through with ideas like this, but he beat me to using the idea of having a tournament, a nice GBHL 100 named after himself, which is a shame. I wanted to do that, but
and part of it was a giant massage to his ego, because a lot of the prizes were like signed photo of Bert getting a blowjob from a cartoon goat, and I now have a lovely 6-foot tall cardboard cutout of Burt Leach in my living room.
Why do you have that, Stephen?
Because, well, first of all, best painted was won by Carl Bates with his lovely.
Did we get photos of that?
We did.
Oh.
Keeping the best painted in the Any Heroics family. And most sporting was won by Mr. James Goebbels and Mr. Stephen Nemby. That's me. 2 separate awards, one for fairest opponent, and one for opponent with the best vibes. I was
Which
fairest
one were you?
opponents.
You were fairest opponent,
which is kind of top.
I think I see that.
Yeah, which the way Bert described it was
good vibes.
It was the spirit of playing a very hard game, but also playing it in a fair and consistent manner, which that is exactly what I aim for. And James Goebel is one of the nicest people you could ever meet on the SBG scene, who's always got time for everyone. So
yeah, he's good. He's good crack.
He's very good.
The vibes are good. He makes me into an idiot when we play against each other, but it's in a good way.
I mean, I've never lost against the man, but that's because I got very lucky.
I don't think I have either. Maybe in the midst of time. I don't remember losing to him, but also I don't remember any of my losses.
Moving swiftly on
from smoking our egos to Mr. Carl Bates' lovely Helm's Guard, which I had the dubious honour of playing against twice on the weekend, because it tore me an absolute hole repeatedly.
Got an AMS as captain there. That's pretty cool.
It's not. That's an AMS's Royal Guard.
Oh.
His captain is the captain model right at the back.
Oh yeah.
But each model's got a little bit of character. I think the AMR model was used because he needed a spare Royal Guard, and it looks close enough. That gosh darn Helm Hammerhand wouldn't stop rolling 5s and 6s. I tell you. It was.
Yeah, if you don't have 5/5/5 troops, Helm can go. Also, Helm against goblins is like comically reliable, and yes, he wins fights. It's like, haha, 2s to win.
2s to wound, heroic combating.
Bonk. Yeah, so he's pretty.
I really like Carl's bases.
Yeah, honestly, I always think that a good set of bases will make your army look disproportionately nicer than it actually is. Like if it's consistent and they're high quality, like nice bases just really elevate the paint scheme. But not to say that he's painting them badly or anything, because he definitely hasn't. There's fantastic paint jobs. But the thing is, I can't actually see that well from these pictures. But I've seen Kyle's paint jobs in real life before, and I know they're phenomenal. So I'm sure these are really really good. But yeah, nice spacing really elevates things, I think.
Yeah, it's another very clean paint scheme, is what I would always say about Carl's stuff.
Yeah, I kind of can't help myself. I do the same thing. Like,
Kyle is the best painter in any heroics.
Doing grubby stuff.
Have you not seen my 2-minute painted Rohan Royal Guard?
Anyway, let's look at the list.
Let's look at the list.
In third place, we have Shenlong, bringing 555 of your finest points worth of Corsairs of Umbar and the Serpent Horde. He has Dalamir with 4 Black Nuns, 4 Corsairs with Shield and Spear, 4 Arbalesters. Corsair Captain with a crossbow, 4 Black Nuns, 4 Corsairs with Shield and Spear, 4 more Arbalesters, and then Suladan the Serpent Lord with Armoured Horse, leading 3 Serpent Riders and 4 Haradrim Warriors with bow and spear.
I feel like, I mean, this is pretty maxed out on the crossbows. He's got 9 crossbows and then 4 bows. I like it. I feel a bit like, well, I'm like, well, I guess he's got 8 Black Numenorians. I look at those 34 models and I think like that feels a bit small, but I guess at 555, it's not huge, but it's not tiny. It's not like an Armour list or something, but it's also actually 34 is more than most things will have. Mm-hmm. And actually, Dalamir Suladan is a really good little axis because Dalamir is a pretty safe leader. And Suladan at 5 small points is really efficient. So yeah, that's obviously good.
I always look at the Black Numenorians in Corsairs list and think you either need to really commit to them or not bother at all.
Well, I think I would consider 8 to be committing to them. I think it's pretty good because he's got some spears on the Harad Warriors. I like numbers more. I think I'd probably not have a Corsair captain, maybe have like a Harad chieftain instead, and then go for bows to get more bows relatively that way, and then have like 5 crossbows and like a few Black Nuns with Dalamir, and then maybe a couple of Corsairs in there because I don't know, Corsair captains are in FI5 is pretty nice, but they're a bit expensive for what you get, considering they're only D4. I don't know. Like obviously, it's done well. I think he went 6-1.
He did go 6-1, yeah.
Yeah. I think with Veto, this is a little bad. Oh yeah, like I said, it's just a personal preference. I think I quite like piling on the bods in Suladan's Warband and stuff. I guess the other thing is like drop 2 models. You can have another bow if you want to really max it out. You could drop 2 Corsairs and then put 2 more models in Suladan's Warband. That could be another bow, but I mean that's just splitting hairs really.
Yeah, I'm looking at Dalamir thinking that's a lot of points invested to then not use all of his Warband space, but I don't know.
But I mean, once you've got a second, if he's gone for the second Corsair hero, like splitting them evenly is fair enough.
Yeah,
because he's not like he's got space to burn. He's got 6 more spaces, but also like if you don't take I guess you could have 1 more crossbow if you dropped a Serpent Rider and a Harad Warrior with bow. You could change the bow into a crossbow, but I think the balance on this looks pretty good, to be honest. I think decent, evidently good. Let me just check what game he lost. Out of interest, what did he lose to? Come on, this is all on Longshanks, so it has the advantage that you can go and have a little nosy. He lost. Oh, okay. He lost Divide and Conquer to Kyle and Helmhand in round 2. So yeah, seems solid enough. Had a pretty safe run into it as well by the looks of it. He mostly avoided any tricky matchups, which is pretty fortunate. Well done to Shen. Good job delivering.
Yeah, I think it's maybe his second GBHL podium now on the hundreds. I want to say
first one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, he's not podiumed before 100.
He got into the top 8 at GP.
Yeah, he was at the top 8 of the GP. That's why we've had him on here before, but he didn't. He finished 8th, I think. He's not made it before. I know because I just added him to my spreadsheet.
Gotcha. I see.
Someone who has been on GBHL podiums a lot before is our second place player, future member, maybe, of Any Heroics.
I already leaked it directly to another YouTube channel, so.
So the official announcement on our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Jaob joining Any Heroics next year, bringing in second place with Army of Arnold. So this is, of course, the new fair and balanced legendary legion, where for anyone who doesn't know, Malbeth gets foresight points, like Elrond, and his feel no pain buff goes up to 4 up for heroes. Are there any other bonuses, or just those?
No,
two?
it's just that.
Just that, and you can't take hobbits. That's
it's you can take the. Can you take the Dunedain thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one because 550 is like a traditional Arnold breakpoint where you can get, before the new stuff came out, it would be Arbitrary Malbeth captain, and then you get like 41 models. So Jakob's using Argadir, who's the mounted captain, essentially the guy with the war spear. He's 30 more points, and he's got 2 Knights of Arnold, which so essentially he's losing what would be 4 models, and I think 1 or 2 bows. I think it's 1 bow. Is that right? I think it's 1 bow going down from like the standard build of Army of Arnold, which would of ages past. But as a result, he's got himself an extra might point, a mounted hero, fight 5 with Master of Battle, and some cav, which is pretty valuable at these points levels. Like I was saying, like 34 doesn't seem like that many, and this is kind of the reason why, because Arnold with like nearly 40 models just feels so oppressive with that Malbeth save. I mean, I'm not surprised that Jakob did well with this. He's a top player, and this army. Well, I mean, he said it to me after the fact. He said it plays itself. You know, it's a straightforward army, should we say? It's very, very effective. You don't spend any points on something you don't like courage. You don't take any. You know, you're essentially dropping your courage, and you're getting high fight, high defense. Everything's got spears for efficiency. Yeah, it's a nasty, nasty army list. And the fact that it got buffed in the Legion, despite already essentially being a legendary Legion, and also extremely good, is very funny to me.
Yeah. He only lost to the most handsome person at the event, so.
He lost to Ben Haslam.
No, James go. No, wait.
Dan Hawkins?
Dan Hawkins wasn't there.
It's a 2-day event, mate.
Yeah, it's 2-day event.
Stephen is referring to himself, I believe.
Yes. We had a very interesting a consecutive fight phase where Arvidui lost to 3 goblins and took 4 wounds, which he had to spend 2 might to stay alive. This was when he was on full stats. And then the next turn, he died to 2 goblins.
And bear in mind, he has a 4+ save on top of his fate, which is funny.
It was quite upsetting.
That's pretty good. Good for him. Should have rolled better. GG.
Good old-fashioned skill issue.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I love when heroes roll 2 or 3 high. It's just, oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Out of interest, how would you scale this up to 650 points, asking for no reason in particular?
For 650? I mean, I think, how full are the warbands? So you've got there's no space in, so Argadir's got 5 warband spots, so you need another hero. Probably a captain.
Captain and bods, basically.
Yeah.
You don't need more than 2 knights.
I think you probably would still want to have Argadir, depending on how the numbers, the odd and even numbers fall. Maybe have another knight, but I wouldn't prioritize another knight. Probably a captain.
Argadir is quite choppy. I think that was quite nice. I wouldn't necessarily say that in our game because he was fighting defense 3 goblins who were piercing, striking, and going down to defense 2. So killing was never an issue. But I think that's the one thing that Arnold traditionally does struggle with is actually chopping through stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also not like a beast. You know, he still only 2 attacks, which means if he ever gets charged, he he could very easily go down like a jump.
No,
he's
he's as killy as Faramir, basically.
Yeah, he's yeah, it's true. He is as killy as Faramir, and yeah, he's 20 points cheaper, and he has Master of Battle.
R.I.P. Faramir.
He doesn't have strike. He doesn't have strike there.
Legacy too soon.
God damn it, Faramir. Yeah, he did get legacy 6 years early. I'm hoping he gets brought back.
Yeah.
Well, I say brought back. I don't think Faramir has ever been very viable. So let's have a viable Faramir, shall we?
Yeah, for David Clubley's sake, at least.
Yeah. A little Clubley.
We've seen 1 point. We've seen 1 point sufficient army. Let's move to first place and arguably as point sufficient, maybe even more point sufficient army. It is Jake Rawson bringing Army of Lake Town and Thorin's Company. 53 models, 16 bows, 11 might. So he's got the Master of Lake Town with some lads, 7 guard, 2 guard with spear, 5 with spear and bow. Alfred, 5 guard, 6 with spear. Braga, 6 guard with bow, 6 guard with spear. Lake Town Captain, 5 guard with bow spear. Nori the Dwarf for a cheap +1 to wound striker, and Bilbo Baggins with Sting and the One Ring.
Yeah, it's the Lake Town engine, basically. With veto for all the banner scenario pools.
53 models. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised this. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is like, obviously this has to veto contest because there's no world where the Master outkills anything, even though he's 2 attack strength for some reason. You know, he's better at fighting than Kurdan, practically speaking. You probably wouldn't, but always anything is going to beat this unless you're against a Galadriel, pretty much. And even then, you'd probably still rather play one of the other ones because you're putting a lot of eggs into the Master's basket for no reason. Because Lords is not great either. I would say like To the Death is the only good one, and then even then you'd have a banner. So that scenario pool is a potential banana skin. Evidently he got through it. Let me just check what he played against.
Then you get the Riders of Theoden.
Riders of Theoden in first round.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because obviously, I mean, you're going to veto contest there because you can't outkill Theoden, barring the most comically bad luck on the part of the Riders player, which is hopefully not going to happen for them. I assume they must have ended up playing. It must have been To the Death, I guess, because there's no way you'd beat Riders at Lords. In which case, I think of Mark O'Brien. Yeah, should have picked Lords, Mark.
Should have picked Lords, as I told him several times.
Oh well. Anyway, that being the first pool is really good as well because that is basically the only banana skin, and then you've got potential for Maelstrom to fuck you over, but like that could fuck the other guy over, and you've got loads of might, so it's like you're not in too much of a bad spot.
Yeah, especially with this list, with the amount of might you have, you basically put down Alfred, and then
that would presumably why Alfred has no bows in his warband, because there's the least possible punish, I guess, if Alfred does get put on the moon.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say is I think, and this is the most minute of minute list building tips, is I think Braga needs 1 fewer Lake Town guard and Alfred needs 1 more, because Braga slots into that block of 12 if you make it a block of 11, and he sits there with his spear support. Whereas Alfred, you don't want to be giving him a spear support because you don't want him fighting. But that's the most 0.01% difference.
I mean, you have to shuffle it very slightly, mainly because that is the warband that has the bow and the spear rather than the bow spear, if you look at it. So that wouldn't necessarily make sense because of how you have to move it around. But also, he's clearly decided he wants to have all of his bows in the warband with just a bunch of spears. So you'd have to flip the warbands with like the captain or something, and I don't think it necessarily matters that much. But you're right, that's something that I would probably try and do. Because
what do we think about the choice of Nori and Bilbo?
It's correct. It's just correct. I mean, like the only other option that you could probably at 5/5 you could have you could drop some models. Although I think the correct choice is to not do that because he's basically maxed out his warband, and that is a revoltingly huge number of models. You could have Bomber, but I mean, you want a striker because the list doesn't actually have one. You can get away without one. I mean, Bilbo is also a striker, but he's only 5'3".
Ultimately, if the
Yeah.
4 or 5 turns of Master Banner haven't solved the combat phase for you,
Yeah, I
an
mean, this
additional
is
2 or 3 isn't going to fix it.
This is a revolting list. 53 models at 555, Fight
You-
4, a shit ton of might. The turbo ring,
Yeah,
nasty.
Turbo Ring with an Elven Blade. You sit Bilbo and Nori basically opposite the opponent's big model if they've got like a helm or something, and you go, "Are you coming into the lines? Because if you are, you're going to get bombed."
Yeah. Well, you could well get bombed.
Yeah.
Remember, spears are hilariously immune to ring halving by value. It's like if you got an infantry hero, you're like, ah, my god, Bilbo's invisible, and then your spearman is like, don't worry, man, I got you.
Don't worry.
I remember having that exact thought process once when we played against Jake was actually using Bilbo Master Burglar, and he had my Thorin who dismounted, he'd been killed his goat, and Thorin was like, oh no, and then my Galathrim caught pikes are like, don't worry guys, I know how to fight invisible models.
I got this, brother.
I got this, brother. Don't even trip.
So well done, Jake. And
Yeah.
moving on to the second event of the weekend.
This is a very unaesthetic
Oh.
slide.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
disgusting.
this is probably one of the worst slides I've ever seen. I would like to say results courtesy of Matt Fremantle, so big shout out to him. He basically messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, do you want results to an event?" And I was like, "Thank you for doing my job for me. Yes, please."
Please send the list in tabletop Admiral format next time. Saves me a job.
Yes, thank you, kind fans, but also fuck you.
Sorry, fuck you. It's more get good.
Yeah, get good. The TOs were Ollie Drew and Philip Ledbetter. It was a doubles event, obviously, so it's 333 points each with 666 points total. Spooky. Scenarios were Clash of Champions from the doubles pack, which is actually vaguely balanced, Duel of Wits, which is not vaguely balanced, and Take and Hold, which I have no idea which one that is.
I don't have thoughts on those, to be honest. I've never considered the double scenarios long enough to actually.
If you ever read the doubles scenarios pack, the 6 scenarios they give you in the match play guide, you realize very quickly that, oh my god, like 4 out of these are just absolutely awful, and basically whoever deploys first loses.
This is the looking at this chef rule. This must be the Hampshire Hammers. Of course, it is Ollie Drew and Philip Ledbetter. So this is like they have this. You get a free chef. Basically, you can re-roll. It's like a banner essentially.
Yeah, it's a banner or a carry rule,
which is pretty funky. Cooking pot has dropped and it changes the 2 previous rules. The previous version of the chef rules weren't in. I've seen them before, but they weren't. It wasn't doubles before, so I'm actually just reading this for the first time. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, so there's some cool additional bits there. So there's no Heroes of Legend and no single model valued higher than 135 points, including war gear, with no red alliances. There's some additional rules with chefs. Each section of the doubles bit gets a chef, one that counts as a banner within 3 inches, and one that counts as a Rumil parry for 6s within 3 inches. If both chefs get within 3 inches of each other, then a cooking pot's dropped, and this changes the previous rules to be 6 inches standard banner. If they move 3 inches away, then that stops. And
so while they're within 3 of each other, the other rules don't apply, and they instead both count as a 6-inch banner. Pretty fun.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Well, specifically the pot does. Most sporting team was the double-ended Bilbos. Don't think about that one too long. Connor and Mitch Young.
Why would Bilbo be double-ended?
Well, he's got a head end and a feet end.
And a sword.
And best painted single miniature was Charles Mercer. The best chefs were Zach Sherlock and Kurt Meets. And the best themed army was the Birth of Rohan from Tom Armour and Matt Fremantle.
When you see not the first picture that we'll show, but the following picture, the fact that the chap's name is Kurt Meets is going to be even funnier.
Yes, yeah.
So the best theme
Is this
army
the minute?
was
Sons of
the
Ale. Hey,
birth
what's
of,
guys you're doing there?
I think she's a chef.
Yeah, I believe she's the chef. I did question Matt, and then I realized afterwards
Yeah,
that
she must
that's
be
what the
because it's a
mirror
hero
is.
of legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the mirror is the cooking pot. Okay. I see.
Yes. Yeah.
It
So
all
Alright.
makes
it's the classic feels of the Celebrant. I guess it's
I see
Celebrant.
a Knight of the White Tower.
Yeah.
And
Knight of the
a
White-
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I like that King of Men pose, the one who kind of looks like he's looking at his sword. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Dave,
Is-
any guess what the best chef's models might be?
No guess at all.
What if I told you it was for an army which was the Wargs of Angmar Legendary Legion?
Show me. Oh, that's pretty good. For those of you who are listening on Spotify, they have made 2 orcs who are pouring out dog food out of giant cans and sacks of pedigree chum, and then the cooking pot is a dog bowl, which I think says Fluffy on it.
yeah. And the pedigree
really
can also
tickled me.
says with man flesh. It, like
Yeah, that bangs actually.
the fact that you've done this for just a 1-day 3-game event is incredible dedication. I
Yeah, they're
love
cooking,
this. There's also a foot hanging out of the dog bowl. So clearly there's the man flesh. Which is
Kurt
very
Meats.
cool. Yeah.
Mr. Meats, top job, top
Yeah.
work from your team.
That is actually Kurt in the bowl.
Kurt actually sacrificed his foot to be part of this this display of hobby
Delightful
talent.
diorama.
And this is what we love to see. I mean, beyond the competitive side of the game, just people really getting in the spirit and going to the extra length like this.
Yeah, I mean that's a genuinely impressive bit of sculpting on the meat falling out of the can. I don't know how they've done that. I guess with some resin or something.
I wish my meat looked that good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly. Third place.
Double-ended Bilbos.
Can't believe it's not Mordor. Simon Hyatt and James Harding in third place. They get scolded for playing 3 points down. They've brought the Mouth of Sauron with Armoured Horse, 5 Morannons with shields, 6 with shield and spear, 1 with banner, shield and spear, and then Guritz with 3 Morannons with shield, 4 Morannons with shield and spear. In one half, their other half of their army is a Candish king on chariot with 1 charioteer and 2 Candish horsemen, backed up with another Candish king on chariot with 3 Candish warriors.
Yeah, I mean Candish kings on chariot just kind of go hard, so
They're absolutely slap.
yeah. Also, they're pretty close to the limit. 135 points limit. No Heroes of Legend. Candish kings are going to be some of the biggest boys out there. So that makes sense to me.
They'll mulch through anything that's of a lower tier than them because they'll not only knock them prone and then do impact hits, they'll also just like absolutely eat the shit out of them. Although I would say you could probably fit more chariots in. So,
well, it may be. I mean, many people don't actually have that many chariots. That might be a limiter because they're not the most easily available model. So it may be that Simon and James only had 3 available. But I think you could have 3. You could have 3 chieftains probably, which might be better. But yeah, I don't have opinions on this really. It's just memes. It's big smashy. Lots of marches as well.
Yeah, march with everybody.
Yeah. If you want, I mean, to be fair, actually, having both your parts be able to march is actually pretty valuable in a lot of the double scenarios, I think.
Yeah, especially if you want to get your
starting split up and having to get together.
Getting your chefs together to get that big 6-inch banner effect.
I wonder what the chef. I guess they probably have to be infantry. Maybe
each army list did have the chefs, I think, but
so maybe that's why there's the foot
warriors
to look after the chef. I think I'd probably have Chef B with the Candish Kings, considering they both count as banners.
Yes. Yeah,
I feel like having a banner and 2 Candish Kings is maybe a little overkill when you also get a free banner. But what are you going to do?
Listen, they just wanted their army to be able to fight everywhere, you know?
Yeah, everything can reroll. Fuck them.
Let's look at second place.
Second place is The Birth of Rohan by Tom Armour and Matt Fremantle. Is, of course, Ale the Young, the guy who helped birth Rohan. He has a very, very, very spacious womb somewhere there. Ale the Young with 6 Sons of Ale and 7 Riders of Rohan. And then there's a King of Men with Heavy Armor Shield, 2 Warriors of Minas Tirith with Shield, 2 Warriors of Minas Tirith with Spear Shield, 2 Rangers of Gondor with Spear, 6 Guard of the Fountain Court, a Knight of the White Tower, hell yeah, 5 Warriors of Minas Tirith with Shield, and 5 Rangers with Spear.
Pretty cool list. I like the King of Men, but I really like the Kings of Men models. They have a sort of they're sculpted off that bit at the start of the movie where you see it's like on screen for a second. The 9, they're like 9 for mortal men doomed to die, and that's what they sculpt the Kings of Gondor off, which I think is pretty cool in a way because it's an interesting implication. Like, are those guys the ring wraiths? But like actually, their models, they're sort of odd and they never get used because Kings of Men are really hard to use. And if you were going to use them geared up, people tend to use other models because it's like they're not very representative of a heavy arm. They're like guys, they've got swords, but they're like wearing robes basically with crowns.
Yeah, it's very ceremonial.
And they're not dressed up, so like they don't have shields and all that stuff. So actually, I think those models are like. Maybe I should try and get some before they get thrown in the trash.
China.
I do actually have a set of Kings of Men in my mystery box.
Well, I might try and get a hold of some at some point because they have a sort of regalness to them that I think I like models that are just standing around.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Ale the Young, another hero he's legendary, but he's not a legend, so he counts.
Is he also being legacied as well?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Right.
I think he's a cool guy.
His profile kind of stinks for how good he should be, probably, but he's an important. Anyway, fuck him. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking, first place is the double-ended Bilbos.
Oh, come on horse! What the fuck? Okay, so this is Mordor and Mordor by the looks of it. We've got Razgush with a Bat Swarm, Spider, Merkle Spider, 2 Fell Wargs, some Orcs, some Shields. There, we've got Kardish with Orc Trackers and a Warg Rider. Then we've got the other half. We've got the eviler half, I guess, which is Camel with some Black Numenorian, Camel horse with 6 Black Nums, Morgul Knight, a Tracker, and then the other part of that is Gorbag with a Shield. Maybe it sort of doesn't fit that theme, but whatever. He's got 4 Black Nums, a Morgul Knight, and 2 Orcs with Spear. 38 models. I mean, Bat Swarms are nice, but they're not exactly. This isn't exactly a list that is powered up to deal with them, right? You know.
Yeah, there's nothing that the Bat Swarms can capitalize on here.
Yeah, I mean, Kamal's probably the best one, and Razgush. But I mean, fair play to him. They won with this. This is pretty funky. I guess it's sort of kind of split power. I think the interesting thing is because of how the double scenarios work. Like 666 is a pretty solid size. You can get a good army in, but 2 333 armies are sort of by definition going to end up weird and wonky, which is why I actually think I like that Ale the Young list quite a lot because it's very simple. It's like, oh, this is a hammer, this is an anvil, smashy, you know.
Yeah, this list has weird things going on with the warband composition, specifically Kamal and Gorbag. I see 2 spears to back up 11 frontline models, including Gorbag, that is.
Well, yeah, in that half, yeah.
I mean, there's only 7 spears in the entire list.
I've always heard spears. There's also
throwing spears. Come on, John. Oof. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I think this list makes more sense if you look at it as 2 333 point lists, where like each part has something strong, a couple of decent bits that can do some work by themselves. I guess I'd probably have the re-rolling chef with the Kabul half because that would definitely benefit more. I see these guys haven't taken banners, which chefs
they're cooking.
Yeah. I mean, this is almost impossible to rate as a list compared to like normal lists because of that. So I don't have any more thoughts on it really.
I think it's neat.
Yeah, it's definitely neat. I mean, 80 lists often are.
Am I a bad person immediately thinking how I'd split Armour Legendary Legion into two 333-point lists?
Gosh.
Probably.
Yeah,
You could-
probably. You probably are, yeah.
I'm just a hobbyist.
Yeah.
Sweaty hobbyist.
Well, for the final event of the weekend, we didn't manage to get the lists, but we wanted to shout out our favourite store manager, Mr. Will Champion, and his Rings of Men GBHL 80. 12 players, custom scenarios. This is still in because I didn't take it out because I like hobby, and this is the army that won.
Yeah, it was
painted.
insane.
It was really cool.
Oh,
Players had to
Yeah.
bring custom objectives, and so all the bits of the dragon kind of kite are his custom objective markers, which is really cool.
I saw this posted somewhere on Facebook, and I just saw this and I was like, Jesus Christ.
I've seen
But-
this. Yeah.
Like this is so cool. The heraldry on the shields, the kind of Eastern style dragon kite thing that they have at the start of
See-
the Desolation of Smaug, I want to say, or is it at the start of the first movie?
it's the start of it's not the start, it's the flashback when Balin is telling Bilbo Smaug's backstory. Basically,
Yeah.
he's explaining how Dale was. I noticed that there are some rangers in there. I see some rangers and those are some rangers in the North models as well, and some dwarf rangers. So I wonder what those are representing.
It's Defenders of Erebor. So
Yeah,
it's the
so-
Dale.
Presumably, but dwarf bowmen though.
Maybe they
That's
were
a
using
dwarf
them as
ranger.
crossbows, or maybe they were using them as Warriors of Dale with bow.
I assume Warriors of Dale with bow, probably bow and spear, because I mean Warriors of Dale and Rangers have pretty similar profiles. They make sense.
Yeah.
One of them looks like they have tons of armor on, and the other one looks like they're wearing nothing but robes, and they have the same defense.
I know with Will's Rings of Men event, he was very keen to help with that kind of stuff, because when I was initially considering going, before I realised it was on at the same time as Verticon, I'd suggested taking a list which was just people who'd previously owned rings. So it was like Gil-galad, Círdan, Isildur, Gollum, Sam, Boromir, etc. And he said, yeah, I mean, if you do take that list, I'll make it not red because it's objectively terrible. So I feel like he'd be more than happy to allow slightly different models being used to slightly different things, as long as it was contextually clear.
I mean, I don't think anyone would actually have a problem with that. If you rock up with your sexy, beautiful Defenders of Erebor and you're like, these Rangers are Warriors of Dale with bow, people are going to be like, okay.
Actually.
At an 80.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We just wanted to shout out Will. We like Will.
We like Will.
Gargle
it
this
The
dragon.
Champ's Bars. Oh, sorry.
No, I was
you
going
were
to say
something
this.
else.
Yeah.
Oops.
All right. Let's move on to everyone's favourite part of the podcast. It is, of course, the GBHL 100 podiums. It's the same as it always is. Nothing's really changed.
We've added Corsairs of Umbar, haven't we? That's new.
Yeah, but
Oh, actually,
one's a
is it
fluke.
new? 1 second. No, it's not, because they already featured at Inch, didn't they?
oh yeah, they're on 2. Corsairs
So-
of Umbar on 2. And
Yeah, Imps is a funny one because Imps, there's so many lists in, but there is always going to be flaws with different ways of measuring this.
Yeah. Army of Lake Town getting another one on.
I think being thorough as possible makes sense, and this is the only way to do that. I'm kind of surprised that Mordor is as low as that. Well, okay, obviously Mordor is high, but when you think about it, I mean, how many have there been? I think there have been
John.
what, like 1800s or something, 1900s this year.
You haven't separated Arnor and Army of Arnor, have you?
Ooh, he's embarrassed himself.
there's so little difference between the actual list composition.
That's
I
like
don't
saying
think it
there's a little
warrants
difference
change.
between Easterlings and Dragon Emperor.
Yeah.
No, because one of those is good.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I in a way I agree with you, but on the other hand, we should be fastidious because if we're splitting them all up, we have to be.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But was I just checking?
You're technically correct, Stephen.
That's the best
When-
kind of great.
When you update the graph, you can update it however you want.
Okay, so there have been 20 GBHL 100s, right? So 12, considering some of those are good v evil,
So that means there's 60 total.
and some of them have double.
Some of them.
Yeah, it's a bit more.
Some of them
Like-
have more than double.
Roughly 60.
There's at least
podium
60
spaces.
podium spaces. Some
Yeah.
of them allow for extra, good, like I said, good v. Have there been any? Actually, have there been any good v 100s? There have been some where it's optional, like into the west. But have there been any actual true good v 100? Am I bugging here?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
I can't think of any.
Is Sterling the first?
I mean,
That's
That's-
kind of crazy, actually.
it's still Mordor taking 20% of all GBHL 100 podiums. 12 out of 60.
Yeah, but like spaces on the podium, there are like Mordor are the premier evil faction. It doesn't really it doesn't surprise me. I'm almost surprised it's not higher. And then the fact that nothing else has got more than 7.
The Warhammer World GT was classed as evil.
True, that's right. But yeah, there are a few extra, and then like Imps allows for loads of extra stuff and things. And
Well, it's
Yeah.
mathematically impossible for me to have made an error.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
think this is right.
I've never seen you make an error.
apart from the Army Varnal thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'll concede that.
Which
I think that was an intentional talking point, wasn't it, John, to get us to talk about the fact that they released a Legendary Legion that took something that was already great, changed basically nothing, buffed it, and then chucked it in again.
I mean, this is all in the script, so
Well, like I said, the
That's a
only
cool
thing is
backdrop.
actually the only thing it actually loses is the hobbits, and it gains a really powerful special rule, which is Elrond's foresight, and then it also buffs Malbeth for good measure, which is just complete insanity in my opinion. Because Malbeth is ridiculous, and he always has been, and they must have known he's ridiculous because he got nerfed in this edition to not be as good as he was before, which
Did
was
he
to
used
say
to work for everything.
he used to work for everything,
Yes.
and in that time you could ally anything. So good soups with like
Jesus Christ.
good soups were completely insane compared to what they are now. Like now they're like, oh, look at all those alliances. But before you'd be like, oh, look, there's Malbeth and Warriors of the Dead and fucking Woses all hanging out, and you've got some Eagles and Treebeard's the leader, and it's just bonkers by comparison. Because back then you could have Forlong leading your Warriors of the Dead because they were part of the fiefdoms. Yeah, I mean it was crazy, but like I said,
It sounds like a lot of fun.
or you'd be like I mean, I at the ETC in 2018, I used Malbeth, Legolas, Elves, Hobbits, Saruman. It was pretty bullshit.
Oh,
It's like, oh yeah, look at this Hobbit horde. It's got a 5+ save.
right. Moving on to the real favourite section of the podcast for everyone but me. I like the stats. It is the comments.
Right. So first of all, Mr. Mark O'Brien at 2481 Mandatum says Jack Brawley runs. Oh, what's wrong, Dave?
Should have picked Lords, Mark.
He should have picked Lords.
You should have picked Lords.
Jack Brawley runs a great event. He certainly does. Great to see the Scottish crowd properly at Fangorn. Would thoroughly recommend people to his events. Just wanted to note that there were established scenarios for the de-escalation with Clash of Champions. If I'd written the slide of all the additional rules and scenarios and everything that it was for the Fangorn event, it would have taken an extra 5 or 10 minutes of talking about time.
And you would have had another slide which looked like that god awful slide we had earlier this episode.
Yeah. But thank you for confirming, Mark, that there were a pair of legends who just decided to run 4 Mummuks. That is what we want to see.
I told you, it's possible. Therefore, you have to do it.
Yeah. Curtis Hodgson at 6022 says
Who the
tiramisu
hell is that?
It's yeah, true. Never met the man. Tiramisu is a top tier dessert. To be fair, it is.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm not going to hate on the tiramisu enjoyers.
I had it for pudding last night, and I
Did you?
really enjoyed it. Yeah, I didn't get
I
another
think you
one
have a
today
problem.
though.
We could we made a crumble last night, so I've been sneaking off to microwave small amounts of that all day today.
Is
Not having-
that is this an intervention to stop me eating tiramisu?
No, but it could be, depending on where this goes.
Comment down below if you want to see us record an intervention for Stephen and his tiramisu addiction.
It's content, Stephen. It's content. Do it for the content.
I mean, I'm down for anything as long as it's content related.
I think the next
Saltman,
comment's for Dave.
it is.
Oh,
Dave, you can read this one out.
All right. Appreciate revisiting and reading your thoughts on the list. I've been memeing on the theme statement. I noticed this. I saw it in the other Discord. Well, I say other Discord. It's like the MESBG semi. I wouldn't say official, but it's like the biggest MESBG global Discord. Yeah. So when I just to sort of pull the wool back on this, when I say something's themey, it's when I can't think of a reason why you would use that, and therefore my assumption is it must have been themey, because as a competitive player, if I can't figure out the logic why you've selected something, that usually means to me that it's a choice that wasn't made for competitive reasons. There you go, the theme suggestion. So disagree on virtually your arguments. I think you're missing the nuance of how to apply the tools of the list. Specific examples of what it can't deal with. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of how I think of lists in general. Like if I put together a list and then I can think of a bunch of things that would just completely blow it up, I don't take it. That's kind of my take on lists in general, rather than impacting us as a whole. I'll also note that those can't deal with almost like okay, just passing to the list style. We'll definitely see me at some point. I'm planning on hopping over Article next year, although of course things may shift with the new edition. Yeah, I mean the lists like I almost feel bad being like, well, I think I can think of loads of things that would give it loads of problems, because those are the kinds of things that I have to consider when I build lists. If they don't come up in your meta, then I suppose it doesn't matter. I can only comment on the world as I see it, which is primarily UK and a little bit of Europe. But the European meta is pretty similar to ours in a lot of ways. Obviously, certain things are more popular, but I don't think they would think this is a good list either. Let me put it that way. But I mean, like, if you like it and it works for you, that's the best thing, really. Like, I don't personally rate Saruman. I like him a lot. I want him to be good, but he's so many points, and I think you can do way better without him, or with a similar list involving the Witch King instead, because the Witch King is a good value. But you know, I know people meme us, particularly in that Discord. People meme us for suggesting or for raving about particular lists, and there is a reason for that. Like, we get a lot of tournaments here with a lot of competitive players, and we sort of stress test lists an awful lot, and like maybe we're more obsessed with certain lists than we should be. But I'm speaking for the UK here, which is pretty big, for the UK scene, and Ireland. I think having so many tournaments, you sort of get to weed out things. I guess maybe the meta gets solved quicker in a way, because there's constant, like, people constantly play things and try things and they don't work. And but then also there's a danger that you can end up with a sort of an agreed upon truth, which isn't always the entire picture.
We do all have large posters of Suladan on our walls.
I thought you were going to say we'll have large brains and therefore our opinions are all correct. And I was like,
also that, clearly.
It's very brave of you to say that. True and intriguing statement, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think I should wrap up because I'm just waffling. But we'll just have to agree to disagree, because I don't think the list is good. I still don't think it's good. I don't think I ever will. If it's good in the new edition, you can rub it in my face, though. I'll give you permission.
Yeah. Bring a printed out copy.
Add
Come
to
up to
Articon,
Dave's Articon. Say, Dave, I'm going to gently rub this in your face, and then gently rub it in his face.
Do the fucking Fortnite L dance in my face.
For Farthings Gaming says, where can I send the results from the Teams tournament I played in to have you review? If you find me on Facebook, Stephen Denby, yes, I'm doxing myself yet again, drop me a message there, and we will pop them in. Or you can send them to anyheroics@gmail.com, which is sporadically manned every couple of days.
If you do that, also send Stephen a message and make him check.
Yeah.
Don't
Use
send me a
lists in
message.
tabletop admiral format.
I mean, if you can send the list in Tabletop Admiral, that's great.
Yeah, intern out.
We love
Save an
Tabletop Admiral.
intern. We don't have to beat him as much if you do that.
Yeah.
Caesar221 says a question which is a really good filler topic for a week where we have fewer events, which is care to share your favorite couple of models to use from this edition before it goes? Now, I'm going to have a
favorite models to use. Okay, well, you just write down Shagrat and underline him a few times. Yeah. Shagrat is great fun, and always I wouldn't say he always delivers, but he's a good model. He's good value for his points. In Evil, he offers a lot. He's very strong defensively. He's got free fate, D7, and he's often not your leader if you're running like a Witch King or something. So he can often be a real like roadblock piece. Plus Blood and Glory. Blood and Glory is great. Gilgalad's also fun, as I understand it. Maybe Blood and Glory is just a fun rule. Who knows?
I think I echo Shagrat. He's also got a very funny name. He's got lots of little purposes.
Lots of puns to be had with Shagrat as well, because it's a funny thing to say. Do use the Spider Queen. If you've never used the Spider Queen in like a Mordor alliance, you owe it to yourself to try that shit out because it's fucking balling. It's amazing. Yeah. She rocks. And what else? I think
Thorin King Under the Mountain's pretty lit.
Yeah, he's pretty money, to be honest.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good value.
The absolute funnest model to use is Gulliver.
Agreed, actually. Gulliver's not going anywhere. Well, I mean, Gulliver.
Neither is Thorin King Under the Mountain.
I think Gulliver is actually he's a great example of he's got tons of strength and really obvious weaknesses. Like, obviously, if you don't have magic or the things that he's specifically weak to, you could probably feel a bit unfair. But actually, if you do have those tools, there's a real interesting cat and mouse thing with Gulliver where he's extremely powerful, but you also have to roll out the red carpet and hold down all the troublemakers that might cause him some problems. And then once you've done that, he can go absolutely apeshit and become a real problem. Yeah. But if you don't do that, he's fragile, and that's why I like him. I think the fact that he does fall to a stiff breeze is a really cool feature. And actually, I think one of the better, if you talk about balancing on the big flying monsters, he's pretty well balanced, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's a lot of points as well.
Why he has heroic defense, I'll never know.
Well, I think he had to have either defense or strike.
Yeah. I guess I'd rather he had defense in that case.
Yeah, I mean, I think giving him defense is actually quite shrewd because it means he's not just make one mistake and he instantly dies. He is, or put him in one bad position and then lose a roll off means he dies. That would be a bit shit if he didn't have strike or defense.
All right, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Spider Queen, a strike and defense, and she doesn't feel oppressive for that.
Yeah. John, you did say that Thorin King Under the Mountain isn't going anywhere. I mean, his goat might be going somewhere because they never released an official goat model with him.
Yeah.
So,
but he does run a goat in the movie, though. He does run a goat in the movie.
We'll have to see what the new edition brings.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I hope, honestly, I think him losing his goat would probably be fair, considering how good he is. But it's also a bit of a shame because I have fond memories of going up a notch with Thorin. Big fuzzer.
If you have access to a Riders of Theoden army before the edition goes, use Riders of Theoden because it's just a fucking blast.
Yeah, all hero Riders of Theoden at 500 points is hilarious. You have 8 models and the games will end
within about 20 minutes.
This is a great thing. You can have a 4-hour slot to have some games with your opponent, with your buddy, and win or lose, Riders of Theoden means you get basically double the amount of games in because woo!
Yeah.
Yeehaw!
The only thing that does suck is if you're playing into potentially elves or dragon emperor at higher points where you can't just break them.
But also, if you're playing against someone who doesn't have 5/5 and you roll 6 every fight, it's sorry, take it off.
In the rare occasions where Gamling's fight 4 trumps the opponent's fight 3, he really comes into his own.
You're like, woo! Goodbye.
Craig Hughes 3560 says, "Someone tell Jordan to lay off the drugs."
Jordan's never done drugs. That's the rumor.
Officially, Jordan is actually very tired from working. I think he was saying he works like 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at the moment.
Yeah,
his
he's
new
pretty
job.
busy.
So if he seems a bit out of it, it's genuinely because he's working like 10 to 12 hours.
Also, if you've ever met Jordan, he's just sort of like that.
Yeah, that's just what Jordan's like.
He's a bit spacey.
Bless him.
Oh yeah, bless the fuck out.
He's our boy.
Next comments.
Rob Lynchbury, 590 at 5990. Gosh, I really biffed that. Says Pippin
you've
to ride
embarrassed
with
yourself.
Gandalf on Ned's list. It was a semi-Durnham Royals as a similar style model with 30 points left on Ned's list. It was an opportunity that couldn't be missed. Also, thanks for the shout out for the tournament. It was a great day and super relaxed gaming. Next year, as Jordan said, it'll be a GBHL 90. I'm looking at making the event a bit bigger, trying to push into the 40 plus players mark. Possible change of venue with a drinks license and a cafe on site. That all
Drinks
sounds
license.
amazing.
Jordan might be winning then.
Yeah, I was going to say Jordan's not going to win with the drinks license.
If pints are available, Jordan's winning percentage crashes down.
If there's also a sword as the number one prize, that is always the kind of, that sets the bar. That's a good tournament in my eyes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the games are all terrible and the TOing's incorrect. If there's a sword as the prize, sorted. Still to be held in Birmingham, as it should be, and slight tweak in rules, but still have the same premise. It'd be great deed points for banners and failed to wound rerolls. Looking forward to you guys attending next year if you can. Jordan can officially have beers in his hand next year while playing. I mean, I'd love to.
That's dangerous.
Let me just have a little.
We love Rob on this channel.
Is there a reason it's not? And I'm sure there is a reason. Is there a reason it's not held at Borden Brum? Because I think that's quite a good Birmingham-based event. Although, if all Birmingham events are held in Borden Brum, when it's the second biggest city in the UK.
Do you say Board of Brum?
Borden Brum.
Well, I thought it was quite pointed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a big enough venue to host 40 people with a bar and a cafe, that sounds absolutely amazing. Do it. I'll do my best to be there, especially if there's a sword on for me to not win. That'd be great. Ned Merrick 9140, who apparently only has one child, which is quite upsetting because it lost me a point on a quiz over the weekend. Says, just FYI, Rob let Pippin ride on Shadowfax, giving Gandalf the extra attack well mounted. And that's ahead of time and great for the theme.
I was thinking Gandalf having an extra attack and a might is like, oh man, and then you think like, would that make him good for 270 points? And you're like,
no.
Good
enough to come second.
No, well, I mean, like, evidently good enough to be to fit the theme and make the list awesome. But like, I really think the thing that makes Burnham so good is the fact that you basically don't pay anything. Basically, Burnham is too cheap for what you actually get. Like, you're not paying Eowyn with that gear plus Mary. You're basically paying Eowyn with no upgrades. So you get her horse and shield and armor all that stuff for free.
Yeah.
And also, Gambling Spanner interacts extremely nicely with one attack. So one might models. So the fact that there isn't anything like that for Gondor, and also, yeah, so it's, you know, it doesn't break the protocol at all. So I would be completely fine with that as well. It's like, cool, you want to pay 30 points to give Gandalf an extra attack and an extra might? It's like, not really, but it's themey.
And resistant to magic, probably.
Yeah, that actually is pretty good. That's pretty good. It would give him resistant to magic, assuming we're working on Durnham rules.
Yeah. I mean, it's just good TOing to have that kind of level of flexibility.
Just good business.
Like, yeah, it's a GBHL 80, as long as people are aware of it. It's clearly not done for gaminess purposes because it's Gandalf the White.
Yeah, I was going to say, gaminess is not available.
Yeah. Chris Murphy 5442 says,
who the hell is that?
Still another interesting episode. Terrible punnage as well, which was great. As for controversy, that was definitely a fart. Wow.
Don't believe you. Don't believe everything you hear on YouTube, guys. Yeah. This Chris guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, I'm trying to make
it was a fart.
But...
John, you weren't there. You don't get to have an opinion. If it was a fart, that means it...
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I thought it was a fart, I probably would fess up to it. But I do think that the vibration might be. But you know, have your say. Hashtag. Put your hashtags in the comments or whatever. I don't know how to do engagement. I'm not good at that.
Yeah, put your hashtags out, kids. Alex Taylor 2766 says, "Thanks so much for the list of ice. I think I'll go with the Gondor tin cans backed up by dwarves for shield wall and
Yep.
squeeze in a Isildur and a bolt thrower. Ooh, bolt
Cheeky.
thrower. Ooh, a good measure. Any advice on how to get the most out of a Isildur? Assuming on foot, no shield.
I would have him on horse always. Shield
On
is
horse, 'cause
like
you can position before you put the ring on.
because you also don't have to use the ring. A lot of situations don't call for it, and then you have a 5'6" strength 5 beater on a horse.
He's also very cheap. But is he 130?
He's 135 with everything, so 130 without the shield. He's 120. Yeah, 120. Yeah, the shield isn't necessary because he's got D7 anyway, and if he's not your leader, it's like if you have things you can save the points and spend them on, then yeah, do that. The thing with the ring is you don't want to just do it randomly. It's basically if your opponent puts a like a Dragon Emperor or something, you can towards the front of their line. It's unlikely with a Dragon Emperor, but it's just an example. If it's towards the front of their line, you can say like, right, I'm going to dismount, put the ring on, and then go through and pin it as like a point pin to make it trapped. Because as soon as it's trapped, it's like cool. You want to do that when you go second as well, so there's not a chance to get peeled off. Obviously, when you're invisible, it's not that easy, but you want to basically do it as I don't have to strike to kill your big guy situation.
Yeah.
The Emperor is not a great example actually because you probably have defense, although you can smash the palanquin. You don't want to be just doing you don't want to ever be putting on just to have a fist fight with something. You always want to be making sure that doing so gets the trap and allows you to complete like a circle, and then you probably want to take it off when you get the opportunity. It's not that difficult with this because he's 36.
Basically, when you do it, you want to be going in knowing that you're going to kill 130 points worth of big.
You want to make sure you do it to take down their Boromir or their something important.
And if they've got heroic, you've got to remember if they've got heroic defense, then at most you're getting 6 strikes. So
well, I mean, but like what I was saying was I would never use Justice Order. Always have something else in there as well because it's not worth it otherwise. Unless there are situations, obviously.
Also, a good combo if you are taking Thorin King Under the Mountain on Goat with his free heroic combats is you chuck him and Isildur into something. Isildur with a ring on, and then Isildur has just 6-inch potential of just where he can go, which can force your opponent's heroes to turtle.
You can potentially double kill because obviously Isildur himself can't combat, but that's a great point. If you pin some with Thorin and Invisilster, you can have a lot of fun with him, and people have to respect the possibility that he could go anywhere within 6 because it's a true 6 inches. You can't block with models, so they have to probably trap their own guys. It's difficult to deal with. I found that when I was playing Jakob under Batir's invisible Boromir with Narsil is extremely hard to deal with. Because it's like, cool, I could just wrap the back of my Dragon Emperor so he can't trap him, but then he'll just come in the front and I'm trapped anyway. It's like, fuck, what do I do? It's not an easy question to answer. It's a real headache. So it's pretty fun. It's fun to give people a headache.
And I believe that is the last
That's
comment.
all the comments.
So thank you everyone for coming along to comment, like, share, subscribe. Remember to support your Hobbit hobby. Go check out 7th City Collectibles in the link in the description. Until next time, be good people and chitter chitter.
Chitter chitter.
It's the people. I mean, good chitter.
Chittering goods.
Oh goodness.